Welcome back to the stock portfolio update videos. Currently, my two stock portfolios sit at a combined value of over $126,000. That's made up of the just under $71,000 in my stake portfolio and then the $55,800 in my Vanguard portfolio. Overall, it's been a good recent week for my investments as my stock portfolio is up around $1,000 to $2,000. As you can see, starting with my stake portfolio, that's sitting at just around 52% in gains now, or 24,278. You can look at my holdings and you can see some of the ones that have done very well recently include the likes of Google. Google's up 86%, and I did some videos on my channel of where I was buying in earlier when it was dipping and really building my position. I'm now up nearly 95% on the stock with an average buy price of $164. So it's been very good for me. In the last month alone, it's up nearly 20%. In the last 6 months, it's up around 86%. And in the last year, around 90%. So it's been a very good holding for anyone who did manage to buy the dip on Google. And it's a position that I plan on holding into the future, as I believe it can do quite well going forward. I have around 10,856 USD in equity, which is a lot more AUD. Some of my other holdings, as you can see, include Amazon. So Amazon's had a bit of a mixed year, up around 12%. You can see in the last month it's up around 1.8% and up around 13% in the last 6 months. But I have around 7,760 USD in Amazon and I'm up around 18.7%. So not bad either. Again, and this is a company I believe is a long-term play that I don't see myself selling anytime soon. I also have Microsoft in my portfolio. So Microsoft also was my second ever holding I purchased, and I have around 6,686 USD in it. So Microsoft's had a little bit of a dip recently. If we have a look at the last month, you can see it's down 8.6%, but I'm still up around 57% on Microsoft stock. And like the other tech stocks, I think long term will be a good performer for me. In the last year, it's up 16%, which again is still very, very good returns for a portfolio position. Looking at my biggest individual holding is VOO, so that's around 20,642, and I'm up around 50% roughly. This is a position I used to dollar cost average into a lot. I've kind of stopped doing that in the last year or so, especially with my Vanguard portfolio, but it's still my biggest position in this portfolio, and it's done all right for me. This just gives me a bit of diversification. If we have a look at my Vanguard portfolio, you can see this is sitting around $55,000. I only have one position as I did sell out of my other ETF I mentioned on here. I used to own another ETF that was sitting at around 16 grand. I sold some of it down to 11 grand, and that was VLC. So that just tracked the largest companies in Australia. But I did sell out of that as I believe I'll be going for a first property. So I needed a bit more for my deposit. But I decided to keep my VGS position so far. So it's my biggest position across both portfolios at around 55,000, and it's around 360 shares. What this position is just a global ETF. So you can see it's around 22% returns in the last year, which is really good. Pays out quarterly dividends, but what it does is just invest in around 1,300 companies in developed countries, excluding Australia. So think of the US, Japan, Canada, UK, things like that. It's been quite good for me. I plan to keep it again long term, as I think it will give me better returns than just my Australian position that I had. And I think it gives me good diversification. So you can see over the last 5 years kind of the trajectory it's been on, very good. But yeah, this is kind of how the portfolio is weighing up. It used to be at around 136,000 like a month ago, and then I sold out some of my positions. And the gains have kind of been bringing it back up a little bit, but I haven't been depositing any money into it as I have been saving for a investment property, as I mentioned. So if we have a look here, you can see is my Excel spreadsheet. So this just kind of shows things. When I used to have more positions, there was a point where I held like 12, 16 positions across both portfolios. This kind of just made it a bit easier. Now that I've really simplified things and I'm only in 5 investments, it's not as necessary in a sense, but I still like to keep it as I do track my gains over time. So you can see how my American portfolio is built up. So 45% is a VOO, and then the remaining 55% is between the other 3 high conviction picks that I have. And then you can also see my Australian portfolio is just the one ETF. So over time, you can see this is how the portfolios have been growing and looking. I haven't done this update yet, as I will do that tomorrow, as I do it at the last day of every month. So tomorrow I'll come in here and I'll update the balances. My stake portfolio will actually grow, so that's now in the 70,000s, which is a nice little mark to hit. But my Vanguard position, because I did sell out of those stocks, will fall, so that will come down to around 55,000, I believe it was. So that's a bit sad. As you can see with my Vanguard portfolio, I've basically never really had a proper down month. There was one little tiny blip here for a little bit of money, but overall I've never really had a down month, so this will bring it down a little bit. But again, progressively over time it will hopefully grow back. And with this extra money, again, I am saving it, so I'm still getting some investment income on that, some interest, but yeah, nothing like you can potentially get in the stock market long term. I'll update my dividends as well. Nothing for my Vanguard account, as I did get my final quarterly distribution. My next dividend will be January, so into the new year. And then in my stake portfolio, I don't really think I've gotten any dividends either. Again, I'm not a dividend investor. I've stressed this before. Dividends aren't my goal in terms of with my portfolios, but it's still nice getting them. And then I use it kind of as a snowball effect. All my dividends are reinvested back into the portfolio to grow my respective positions over time. So between the two of them, you can see I've got nearly $3,000 in dividends from my Vanguard account. And I've got around 800 in my stake account. Keep in mind that is USD, so if I was to convert that to AUD, my assumption would be that'd be around 1,200. So overall, between my portfolios, I've probably got around $4,100 in dividends since I've been investing, which is quite good. And it's all gone straight back into the portfolio. One thing I will also show, as you can see here in my cash position, I do have 2,657 USD sitting in cash. That is because I did sell out of Apple and Costco, but I haven't taken that money out, as I will have to pay a FX conversion fee because I haven't decided how much money I'll need to take out for my first deposit. I will still need to sell more shares, so if I do have to sell shares in my stake portfolio, I don't want to pay double fees and stuff like that. I'd rather just pay it in one hit, so that's why I'm kind of sitting on that cash. It's not ideal because I'm not earning any interest or anything like that, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment with that money. And that's what's kind of keeping this portfolio over 70,000, because I did sell out of both the portfolios a little bit. Going forward, next year, my goal is to just continue dollar cost averaging. Even though this position that I've built in VGS has obviously gone down in value, my plan is still to build this long term. I'd love for this to hit $100,000. Again, that's probably a bit more of a 5-year goal or 3-year goal than it would be in the next year. Especially if I wasn't buying property, I could definitely easily hit it hopefully next year if I really put my head down. But yeah, I do need to diversify as well, so that's one of the reasons why I will be investing into property as well. But again, that's just kind of how the portfolios are looking. Just a bit of an update. Again, we're sitting at over $126,000. So if I do sell, let's say, another 26,000 to build up my cash position, I can hopefully still keep my portfolio at over 100 grand, but I don't think that'll be likely. I'll probably have to bring it down to around 80,000, just because the property prices are quite expensive and I would have to put up the whole deposit myself. So that's kind of how things are looking. Feel free to share how your portfolio is doing and your thoughts on any investments at the moment. Cheers.